Hey guys, RS6 Detail, new car, not a new car, a demonstrator, which is partly why we're doing this video. We wanted to do a video on detailing new cars, and this came in and it was a demo, had 2000 Ks on it, so it had a few issues, and that was good. That meant I had finally a customer who was going to leave the car long enough for me to make a video on how to detail a new car, and how to detail a new car if it wasn't exactly new, if it was a demo, which this is. So what we're going to do is detail the RS6, give it a new car detail, but then show you exactly what the difference is between a new car and a used car, a slightly used car, and what we have to do to bring that up to something that looked brand new. I'm going to stop, let's get into it. Watch me go through a new car process if that was something you thought you'd be interested in.
So first thing I do is to prep the vehicle is to apply wheel cleaner, and I apply it to the exhaust tips. This breaks down the carbon deposits there. I always recommend applying it to dry, cool wheels. Wheels that are wet will dilute the chemical. It'll also cause the chemical to run off the surfaces, and you'll have much less dwelling, and that makes the product less effective. Now this is just a conventional wash. Begin by using high pressure to remove the loose debris. I'm overusing body shampoo here. I'm overusing it to achieve maximum lubrication and cleaning power. I'm not looking to prolong any of the existing waxes, and I want the most amount of lubrication to avoid adding any imperfections. We'll speed this up so I don't bore you with simple washing processes. We do make sure that we tend to every single little detail on the body. It's important to make sure you rinse all the chemical from the surfaces, and at this point I'm switching from the hot water I was using to cold water. Once the rinse is complete, at this point, while you would normally dry the vehicle, we want to leave that rinse water there. And to that rinse water we'll apply a lubricant. In this case it's Final Inspections lube. That will give us some suspension for this mechanical decontamination step using the eraser, which is the pad you can see here, to minimize marring. The eraser's job is to capture and lift contamination from the surface, which it then drops back down into the lubricant, making a slurry. This is the owner of the vehicle, Peter, carrying out this mechanical decontamination process. And now, using a product called Cleanse Strong, we do a chemical decontamination. This is the second part of the decontamination process. What we're doing here is removing any waxes, any adhesives, any tar, etc., as well as capturing the contaminants from the mechanical decontamination step in that lubricant slurry. And all of these will be pulled up into the orange paintwork cloth here and removed from the body. This will leave a nice, clean, very, very slick foundation for paintwork correction. I find it incredibly useful to spend at least half an hour and up to 1 hour removing all the water from all the crevices, ending up with an almost bone dry vehicle. You can see just how much water the vehicle is holding in its crevices. These will leak out as you continue to work with the vehicle, and they mix with polish to break down the polish, or they mix with your paint protection, causing smearing. Here we're removing the ugly plastic that supports the registration plate and deciding on a much better presented front plate arrangement. And now that the vehicle's dry, we're assessing the damage. If you have a good eye, you'll see some marring, some swirling, and just a few very light scratches. Here I'm pointing out where some screws, which were too long, that were used to affix the rear plate to the vehicle, have damaged the paintwork on the hatch. This is an example of why we remove registration plates and fit spacers. Now I'm assessing what paint correction processes I'll use to remove these imperfections, and I've decided to attempt to remove them in a single step with a wool pad, cap heavy, and Beetlejuice, which is a 15mm random orbit polisher. I'm not happy with the finish, so we're using the same combination but switching out the machine for a rotary polisher. This gives us significantly more cutting power. And now we have the desired amount of correction. Just to note, what I'm doing here, the processes I'm using here, the tilt on the machine, isn't something I'd recommend for anyone without a very high skill level with a rotary polisher. If you don't have at least 10,000 hours of experience with a rotary polisher, do not attempt to replicate these paint correction processes. So the entire vehicle was corrected with wool pads of various sizes, Cap Heavy, which is a heavy cutting compound, and Brutus, which is the rotary polisher you see here. After paint correction, but before protection, I've decided to give the glass, which had some very light watermarking, a going over with our glass correction serum. This is a mechanical and chemical process. The mechanical action uses abrasives to bite into the etching in the glass, and the chemicals react to provide more correction. The residual is then removed with a damp paintwork cloth, and the entire vehicle is very carefully decontaminated again with paint cleanse. This leaves all the surfaces extremely clean so that the paint protection can adhere correctly. Finally, the paint protection step is actually very easy and very quick. All the exterior surfaces are coated. The paint, the glass, headlights, taillights, wheels, and any exterior plastics. The vehicle is then left overnight for a heat cycling cure, and the customer can collect the vehicle with a cured coating of full metal jacket paint protection.